Hey guys, what's going on? It's MassiveJoes RAW review, and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Awesome raw review for the viewers at home today. The first episode of our new format, raw reviews, and you guys are in for one hell of a treat. Not just because of the new format, but because of the product this is on. At the time of shooting this raw review, guys, it's on our #1 selling complete stimulant-based pre-workout supplement from our good friends at Nutritionals. It is, of course, Fury X in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's going to do for the purposes of this new style raw review. This information panel is actually going to get it done, and we about to go balls deep in this here Core Fury X. Starting from the top, serving size, 2 scoops, 25.25 grams. You got yourself 40 scoops per tub, but actually what I'm going to talk to you guys about is actually the full serve, as Core has put it, and it's a 2-scoop serve. So you've got 40 scoops per tub, 2 scoops per serve, therefore technically 20 full 2-scoop serves per tub. The 2-scoop serving is 25.25 grams. You got 22.11 grams of actives if you just do a quick sum and add all those active ingredients up. There's 10 of them to be exact, which leaves us with 88% active ingredients and just 12% flavors, sweeteners, and stabilizers. Core do not use artificial colors or dyes in any of their products, so there's none of that going on, and that's a pretty good ratio for a pre-workout. Generally speaking, anything below 20% in terms of the non-active ingredients is pretty damn good. In terms of what those active ingredients, those 10 active ingredients are, one of the changes with this new format raw review, guys, is I'm not going to go through every single active ingredient and tell you what it does and whether or not it's clinically dosed, so on and so forth. What I am going to do is put a link into the description box to our Supplement Simplified articles, because we have a written article on every single one of the 10 active ingredients in this Fury X. So if you're interested to find out more about any one of the specific ingredients I'm about to talk about, hit that link in the description box and go and check out the Supplement Simplified article. What I am going to do instead is I'm going to talk about the 5 main effects we look for in pre-workouts, and then how this Fury X compares in those 5 categories of effects. Those 5 categories of effects are muscle power, of course, muscle pump, muscular endurance or anti-fatigue, mental focus, and energy. So starting with muscle power, we have creatine monohydrate, and remember, this is the 2-scoop serve that I'm going to talk to you guys about for those of you following the nutritional information panel. We have creatine monohydrate in a full clinical dose, and we have a very good dose, probably I'd say full clinical, if not above full clinical dose of betaine in the form of betaine nitrate, which is going to give us some pretty good synergism between, obviously, the creatine monohydrate as a precursor to ATP and the betaine from the betaine nitrate, which is actually a precursor to creatine. It's going to give us some solid synergism that's going to result in a lot of ATP being produced to assist in that muscle power. Moving on to muscle pump, we've got some pretty cool synergism here as well, guys. We've got an above clinical dose of L-citrulline, which is of course a precursor to arginine. We've got an above clinical dose of Hydromax glycerol, which is going to hyperhydrate muscle cells. It's going to draw a lot of water into muscle cells to help with that muscle pump. And then from the betaine nitrate, the other side of the betaine nitrate, we've already spoken about the betaine side. The nitrate side, obviously, once again, is going to help with muscle pump from the nitrate, nitrite, nitric oxide pathway. Very, very good synergism between these 3 ingredients. You've got the NO boosting from both the arginine and the nitrate pathways, and then you've got the Hydromax drawing that water into muscle cells. Awesome blend of pump-based ingredients. Moving on to muscular endurance. Now, to be honest with you guys, this is probably the biggest gaping hole in this formula. There is no beta-alanine, there's no pico-2, there's no creatine phosphate, and there's not even any taurine. So apart from really the secondary side effect of hyperhydrating muscle cells, which is improved muscular endurance from the Hydromax glycerol, there's no specific ingredient in this formula that's going to assist with muscular endurance. Moving on to focus and mood, we've got L-tyrosine towards the upper end of a clinical dose, and we've also got choline bitartrate towards the upper end of a clinical dose. Once again, some good synergism between these two ingredients. L-tyrosine going to boost mood and feeling of well-being, whereas choline, being a precursor to acetylcholine, is going to help with that mental focus. A nice 1-2 punch in there for focus and mood. And then finally, the fifth effect, of course, is energy. And when it comes to stimulant-based pre-workouts, this is a big one, you guys know. And we have a fantastic blend of 3 ingredients. One that excites, at this point in time, with what we are allowed to do with stimulant-based ingredients due to regulations in the US, Australia, and around the world, this is pretty much as good as it gets right now. And it is very fucking good. We have caffeine in a massive dose, caffeine anhydrous. We have dynamine in a massive dose, and we have teacrine in a pretty damn good dose as well. This is really the synergism between these 3 ingredients I've spoken about in multiple videos in the past, but effectively you've got very fast acting stimulation from the dynamine. You've then got that medium acting stimulation from the caffeine anhydrous, and then the long tail energy and stimulation from the teacrine. So it's like a 1-2-3 punch that kind of kicks in at different levels. So you're going to get a very fast rush of energy. That energy is going to sustain for a long period of time. And then you're going to get no post-workout crash because of the teacrine. That's really kind of drawing that elevated energy out. Very, very cool blend for boosting energy in this Fury X. In terms of what it's missing, pretty much, as I've already mentioned to you guys, the really one obvious thing it's missing is something for muscular endurance. No beta-alanine, no pico-2, no creatine phosphate. Really, any of those ingredients, even a little bit of taurine, is gonna boost this formula to the next level by enhancing muscular endurance. If we look at the other 4 effects that are pretty well covered, of course, with a fine-tooth comb, we can kind of pick holes in it, and we like to do that, of course, to keep these companies honest. Muscle power could definitely benefit from some extra elevate ATP or perhaps even some peak ATP. Not necessary, because that blend of creatine monohydrate and betaine is very good, but adding those, of course, is going to add some extra benefits. From a muscle pump perspective, probably something like some Vaso-6 is a hot ingredient right now, maybe even a little bit of S7. Definitely something that on paper this pump blend is going to benefit from is something that's going to prevent the breakdown of excess nitric oxide, because we've got citrulline, which is boosting arginine, which is boosting nitric oxide. We've got the nitrate, nitrite, nitric oxide pathway that's boosting nitric oxide, but we don't have anything to inhibit the nitric oxide synthase enzyme, which is the enzyme that's responsible for breaking down excess nitric oxide. So something like an agmatine, man, even a norvaline is going to add some benefit to allowing those muscle pumps on paper, allowing those muscle pumps to just prolong a little bit longer. From a focus and mood perspective, of course, we could enhance the mood with a little bit of L-dopa, maybe some mucunapurians that yields L-dopa. And from a mental focus, of course, something like huperzine A is going to boost that effect. From an energy perspective, man, I would not touch it. I would not put anything else in that energy blend. I think it is that damn good, and we'll talk more about that when we get to the effects. But before we get to the effects, we're going to talk about flavors, scoop weight, and of course the infamous MassiveJoes taste and mixability tests. 3 flavors in this Fury X at the time of recording this raw review. We have the pineapple strawberry. We have the Star Candy, aka the Starburst flavor. And of course, we have the world famous Australian gummy snakes, aka the Killer Python flavor. If I had to rank these flavors from best to worst, in my personal opinion, of course, flavors and taste is always a personal opinion, guys, I would actually put pineapple strawberry as my first. Then I would go Australian gummy snakes, and then I would go Star Candy 1, 2, 3. But they are very close. They're all pretty damn good flavors in my personal opinion. But we'll talk more about that in a second. Before we get there, I want to tell you guys about the scoop weight. One thing to keep in note with this Fury X is the scoop is actually underweight. A single scoop is supposed to weigh half of 25.25, and which is your full 2-scoop serve. A single scoop is supposed to weigh 12.625 grams. If you weigh it out, it's actually about 5% less than that. So it actually weighs about 12.2 grams. So it's an underweight scoop. Not by much, by a very small amount, and generally speaking, when it comes to pre-workouts and fat burners and stimulant-based products, the margin of error is usually around about 10%. So to be 5% is pretty damn good, but it is something to take note of, especially because the stimulant, the energy blend in this is so potent. You may want to just measure out the exact weight that you are putting into your pre-workout shaker. Infamous MassiveJoes taste and mixability test about to go down. I've got myself, I told you guys my favorite flavor was the pineapple strawberry. So I actually have my personal open tub of Fury X in the pineapple strawberry. And to read off the label, it says mix 2 scoops with 16 ounces of water. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to mix 2, I'm going to mix 1, but I'm going to mix it in half the amount of water. So of course I got my TMJ Elite Shaker with 8 ounces of cold water ready to go. I got the double wall glass. Let me take 1 scoop of this Fury X, which is, as I mentioned to you guys, underweight by about 5%. So in fact, I'm going to go a little bit more. I'm going to go a slightly heaped scoop to get perfectly, well, approximately 12.625 grams. I'm going to throw this bitch in this bitch. There's 8 ounces of water. Pop the lid on here. A few flicks of the wrist. I'm going to refresh my memory on how this Fury X pineapple strawberry tastes. Of course, I'm going to show you guys how it mixes as well. That's enough. As you guys can see, in the shaker, pretty well mixed. It's kind of hard to tell. It's a little bit kind of murky, a little bit milky, maybe even a little bit gritty, and it does froth up. You can see that as it's separating, it froths up a lot. Guys, that is because of the massive, we got 10 active ingredients, 88% active ingredients in a 25.25 gram serve. So you are dealing with a massive dose of active ingredients. And that's what's going to happen when you don't have a lot of fillers. So you are going to get a kind of, a thick, let's go with thick texture and some frothing. So I would go so far as to say a blender ball is required for this here Core Nutritionals Fury X. I'm going to show you guys this real quick before I refresh my memory how it tastes. I want to show you as I'm pouring it out. So let me get some zoom and focus action right there. Appreciate the thickness, guys, because that's about to play into how it tastes in about 2 seconds. Let me refresh my memory on how this pineapple strawberry Fury X tastes, man. And here's the thing with this Fury X. The one thing that's undeniable with the experience of consuming this product is it's not quite grittiness, it's more, I don't even know if this is a word, but fuck it, I'm gonna use it, flourness. It's kind of like, it's almost like drinking a cloud in the fact that it's very flour. It's not gritty, there's nothing gritty about it, but it's very, let's go with powdery. It's very powdery in the mouthfeel. Undeniable across all 3 flavors, that's something you're going to experience. In terms of how it actually tastes, once you get past the powdery aspect of the mouthfeel, I think it tastes really fucking good. Especially considering that they've only used 12% non-active ingredients, 12% flavors, sweeteners, and stabilizers. The flavor is really damn good. The one thing that we definitely get is It's polarizing in the fact that some people just can't get past the fact that they can't get past the powdery mouthfeel. They can't get past the texture, and they therefore paint the flavors with the same color brush and go, the flavors are shit because it's so powdery. I encourage you guys, when you're tasting this product for the first time, or if you're using it at the moment and you've done that exact thing, is try and see past the flourness, the powdery mouthfeel. Because once you get past it, the flavors are pretty damn good. As I mentioned to you guys, I got pineapple strawberry first, Australian gummy snakes number 2, and star candy number 3. But I will say that in terms of how it tastes, our customer feedback has probably been the most polarizing of any pre-workout we've seen thus far. People either love it or they hate it, and from what I can tell, it comes down to whether or not you can get past that flowery mouthfeel. In terms of the effects, because this is what you guys have been waiting for, ain't it? Let me firstly just say that when it comes to the energy, it comes on very, very quickly, and it completely knocks you for 6. And I think the reason why it does that is because with most pre-workouts, especially this caliber of pre-workouts, they have beta-alanine in them. So you kind of get a little bit of a heads up from the beta-alanine tingles. This doesn't have the tingles. So you're kind of drinking it and you're expecting to, get the kind of pre-energy tingles that you get from beta-alanine, and there's none of that. And then next minute, it just whacks you straight in the face, and it's like, fuck, I need to go and lift something heavy or go and sprint or just go do something high intensity because I have more energy than I know what to do with. That's the first thing you're gonna notice from this Fury X. Very, very strong stimulant effect. Not only does it come on fast, but it comes on hard and it lasts a very long time. So that's the first thing to take note of, and probably the first thing to be aware of if you are stimulant sensitive. This is a very, very strong, not here to fuck spiders, complete stimulant-based pre-workout supplement. In terms of the power, pump, and focus, as you would expect based on the formula on paper, very, very good. It has you feeling very strong, especially in your bigger muscle groups, chest, back, legs. The muscle power is definitely noticeable. The muscle pumps are very, very good. And funnily enough, they actually last longer than you'd expect them to last because of the lack of agmatine, the lack of norvaline, the lack of something to inhibit nitric oxide synthase, that enzyme that breaks down excess nitric oxide. The pumps are unreal and they last a long time. It almost doesn't make sense, to be honest with you guys, because you'd expect pumps that come on that hard and that fast to dissipate very quickly, but they don't in this Fury X, which is, unexpected, but good. And then the mental focus, that blend of the tyrosine and the choline bitartrate, elevated mood, decent mental focus, nothing exceptional, but definitely noticeable. And the one thing that is really noticeable in combination with the focus is that energy blends in combination with the elevated mood and the increased mental focus is really quite a pleasant experience to train on. The one thing that's lacking is definitely the muscular endurance. As we've mentioned on paper, no beta-alanine, no Pico-2, nothing in there to really enhance muscular endurance. And you do notice that, especially in your longer, bigger muscle group leg workouts. For me in particular, I notice it in my back workouts and specifically in my leg workouts is that the muscular endurance really does drop off. The one thing that I found to kind of combat that is if you're a core fan, use Core ABC intra-workout because that has a big dose of beta-alanine. You're taking Fury X before you train, you take Core ABC intra-workout, you get the benefits of the beta-alanine and you don't have any problems with muscular endurance. Or Peak X is the other one, and I'll talk more about that when I talk about what the Fury X stacks with in a second. The one thing that I do have to mention is, and this kind of relates to the strength of the stimulant blend of this Fury X, is that you do need to find your sweet spot when it comes to dosing. Because for most people, unless you are a stimulant junkie, let's be honest, or you have a very high stimulant tolerance, the 2-scoop serve is just, it's gonna be too much. It's too much. And I have quite a high stimulant tolerance, especially when it comes to pre-workouts, and it's way too much for me. So I experimented with the dosing, and for me, it's pretty much bang on 20 grams, which is a little over 1.5 scoops. It's like, I don't know, let's say 1.6 scoops. And I found for me, that's the sweet spot dosing. I can go a little bit less if I'm training smaller muscle groups like arms or shoulders, a little bit more if I'm training, back or chest or legs even. But generally speaking, that 20 gram serve, about 1.5 and a little bit scoops is perfect for me. The cool thing is because a lot of the active ingredients in this Fury X are overdosed, you can actually peg back the dose from 2 full scoops to just a little over 1 scoop or definitely 1.5 scoops and still get actual clinical doses of all of the actives because they are so highly dosed in a 2 scoop serve. Side effects. As I've mentioned, very, very strong stimulant blend. If you are, even if you're not sensitive to stimulants, I encourage everybody to start with 1 scoop. And kind of take it up from there. I think probably for 95% of you watching this, if you go straight to the 2 scoop serve, even though it's 5% based on weight under dose, it's just going to completely knock your socks off, and it's just not, it's going to be too strong to be a good pre-workout experience. So I encourage you guys to start with 1 scoop, work your way out from there until you find that sweet spot. In terms of stackability, obviously, something to enhance muscular endurance, beta-alanine, pico-2, it's going to stack exceptionally well. Something to prolong the muscle pump, something with agmatine, something with norvaline, also going to stack exceptionally well. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Peak X from Core, which is their non-stimulant pre-workout supplement, stacks perfectly with Fury X. So perfectly, it fills in all the gaps. There's zero overlap between ingredients. So if you're looking to stack it with something, your top pick has to be Core Peak X because it's designed to stack together. If you're not gonna, if you don't want to look at Peak X or you're not interested in Peak X, then definitely something that's going to enhance muscular endurance or prolong those muscle pumps is going to stack best. What does it compare to? So this is a new piece of the new Raw Review format puzzle, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of scope on where this Fury X sits in terms of the pre-workout landscape. So I'm going to compare it to 2 other top pre-workout supplements at the moment, top selling pre-workout supplements at the moment. On one end, I'm going to talk about Spartan Nutrition Kraken. On the other end, I'm going to talk about Primeval Labs Mega Pre Black. So when it comes to Kraken, very similar feeling of well-being and focus is the Fury X. Fury X is going to be slightly stronger in terms of stimulant strength and how long the stimulant effect lasts for as well. You're going to get slightly better muscle pumps from Fury X as well. You're going to get much better muscle power from Fury X, but you're not going to get as good muscular endurance as you are from Kraken. Kraken beats Fury X when it comes to muscular endurance for sure. Flipping the switch to the other end of the scale, Primeval Labs Mega Pre Black, very similar stimulant strength and stimulant feel, very similar feeling of well-being and very similar feeling of focus. So in terms of that whole stimulant, mental focus, well-being experience, they're very, very similar in the way that they feel when you're taking them. Also very similar muscle power, both very good pre-workouts for enhancing muscle power, especially in those bigger muscle groups. You're going to get much better muscle pumps from Fury X. In fact, I think Fury X, to be honest with you guys, is one of the best muscle pump pre-workouts on the market at this point in time. But once again, you're not going to get as good muscular endurance as you are from Mega Pre Black. No surprises there. It really is the one place in terms of pre-workout effects that the Fury X does fall down. Final thing, of course, price and value for money. In the Australian marketplace, guys, you're looking at $79.95 Australian dollars for the 40 scoop, aka 20 serve tub. So it's probably, to be honest with you guys, if not definitely one of the most expensive pre-workout supplements on the marketplace in Australia. Not necessarily per serve, but actually like the amount it's going to cost you to get a tub at $79.95. It works out to $2 per scoop. If you're taking a full 2 scoop serve, which I don't think many of, like I said, probably less than 5% of you are, it's $4 per serve. For me, I'm at that 1.5 scoop per serve. So for me, it's about $3 per serve. The question is it worth that high price tag? For me, I think it is. And the reason why I think it is because two main points, guys, just to cut through everything, two main points. The energy blend, the energy synergism between the caffeine, the dynamine, the teacrine. Not only have Core nailed it in terms of using those three ingredients, but the ratio of those three ingredients that they've used is by far the best energy experience that I've had on a pre-workout in recent times that I can remember. I mean, Core just have nailed that ratio, nailed that consumer experience in terms of the energy. The other thing is the muscle pumps. I mean, I challenge you guys, even though there's no agmatine in here, even though there's no norvaline, I challenge you guys to find a better muscle pump pre-workout inside, not just a pump supplement, inside a complete pre-workout. I challenge you to find a better muscle pump formula. And once again, those, not just the ingredients, but the ratios of ingredients just work so damn well. The pumps are just amazing. And like I said, even though there's no agmatine or norvaline, the motherfuckers last the whole workout. It's just crazy. And then on top of that, you get the benefit of the elevated well-being, the really nice mental focus, and the very, very good muscle power as well. So in my personal opinion, especially because very few of you are going to be taking the 2-scoop serve, I just think it's going to be too much for most people, and you can dose it down and still get the effects that I was just talking about, still get the clinical doses. I think it is worth the high price tag. And I'm sure that those of you who decide to give this Fury X a try or have given it a try in the past are going to absolutely love it. So guys, if you're in the market for a premium quality, complete stimulant-based pre-workout supplement, you have to go and get yourself some of this Core Fury X. Guys, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn your post notifications on, both on your mobile, your cell phone, and your desktop PC, so you don't miss a beat when it comes to the Massive Joe's YouTube channel, including the all-new format, world famous Massive Joe's Raw Review. And guys, that is Massive Joe's Raw Review on Core Nutritionals Fury X in the house. And I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive.
Thank you for tuning in to this video. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out our latest upload and our recommended video, and be sure to subscribe to the Massive Joe's YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads.